Hello. Welcome back. Or welcome back. Yeah, not much programming notes. I was sick yesterday. I'm feeling about 85% today, which is well enough, I think. Well enough to try to keep going, to keep that stream chugging along. I'm not sure how many of these, more of these one-page dungeons. Hey, Elfbait. Welcome. We'll see. We'll see how many we get through today, and then we can reset. So tomorrow we'll definitely be doing, assuming I stay on my road to recovery, which I presume I will. We'll be doing the OSR Reddit read up roundup that we usually do, and then I'll try to reset things on, I guess, on Monday to see if we want to keep going with these. If I haven't finished them all, or maybe this is enough. I don't know. We'll see. But let's stop talking about it and just get to it. Next one in our hit parade of one-page dungeon contest 2021 winners is In the Gooey Clutches of Mucus. Okay, obviously this is a somewhat humorous dungeon. The map essentially located in the middle of the page, so is what can only imagine to be a giant nose with twin waterfalls of, I guess, mucoid matter. I don't even know what to call that. Hey, Tonka Todd, glad you made it. You are here at the start, so welcome. And welcome to the Gooey Clutches of Mucus. Mucus. All right, I can see where they have the exit. Is that the entrance? We'll see. Where's Area 1? I don't see Area 1. I see Areas 2 and 3. I guess we'll just have to see. Well, let's get to the cold open. Oh, they give us some. They're calling it cold open. On a usually safe road, hot sunny morning, 1d6 goblins of the Snotnose clan attempt to steal heroes' medical supplies. Maybe the heroes' medical supplies? We have a bullet point underscored. They are obviously sick. All right. Session plus encounter start. As PCs notice them, goblins fight only in self-defense, flee after first turn, can be bargained or parlayed with, proceed to town. I'm not sure why the clipped English. Oh, this was created by Daniel E. Slushny, and it is Creative Commons licensed. Hey, Lincoln says, I jump in the water. Are you sure? Not only are you sure you want to jump, but are you sure that's water? We'll have to see where they come out, because it's not clear. I guess from the numbering, we imagine we come in at the nose, but they don't number it. So I don't know why they don't. Or am I missing the number? But clearly, jumping ahead, the first area is entryway nose statue. I don't know why they don't put the 1 there. It's just put the 1 in there. And by the way, in the cold open, I like that they give it to you, but hey, look, you got enough white space here. Don't need to do the clipped English. Talk about, you can use complete sentences. Don't need the plus. You don't need that stuff. You've got tons of room. Tons. Write it out. I do like that they give you 1d6 goblins. Some of the other things will just put no numbers. They'll just say goblins, or they'll put some symbol. Like that, the justice, whatever, balance symbol goblins. Yeah, just give me a number, right? 1d6. I like that. The Township of Noose. All right, so after this, they're sick. They're going to run away. Interesting. One other note, right? So the encounter is supposed to start when the PCs notice them, but the goblins fight only in self-defense. So what happens if they don't fight at all, right? We're presuming that PCs are going to start a fight. Oh, I guess they're stealing the medical supplies, but they're just going to run. So why even have them fight a turn? Just have them run. Have them try to steal the medical supplies and run. Though it's another weird thing. Like in a medieval fantasy game, what exactly do medical supplies look like? So I'm imagining something out of the TV show MASH, where you've got big red crosses on things to indicate that it's medical stuff, and you've got the Jeep with the medical supplies and clingers driving, and then suddenly these guys jump out and they're trying to steal these clear boxes, these clear metal cases full of medical supplies. But in a medieval fantasy setting, what the heck is a medical supply? People have essentially anonymous looking packs and sacks and bags. So who's going to look at that and say, oh, this is obviously a medical supply? Either they're just going to try to steal stuff. Maybe they might come in begging for help. They could probably, it would be maybe make it a much more interesting encounter if these goblins were just begging for help because they're terribly sick, as opposed to them trying to steal whatever medical supplies. Yeah, I'm sure with Elfbait is correct. I've officially dated myself. Yeah, though is MASH still on TV? I don't know. I feel like it is. Hey, nothing. Should be. I like the idea of a sick goblin encounter. It's a good idea, even for a more serious campaign. Yeah, absolutely. It just could be more interesting than just make it a combat plus flee. Maybe it's marked with an herb symbol. Tunka Todd says, yeah, that's probably something very campaign specific. Anyway, I like the idea, but do something better with it. Don't just have them run and grab medical supplies. Maybe they look for a cleric or druid and literally beg them for aid, or a paladin if they've got cured disease. Please, look at our noses. Our poor goblin noses are running. That to me is a lot more interesting. But I do like the idea that they're sick. I agree with nothing on that one. All right, so we get to the Township of Noose. It's a mining town. Everyone is busy with Great Market Festival. Again, I don't know if English is your second language. Busy with a Great Market Festival. You don't, that extra one character or two, if you include an extra space in there, not going to kill you. Put it in. You're not, I don't know what space you think you're saving. You've got white space right there. Just make it readable. Again, over course of day. How about over the course of the day? Come on. Look at that. The sentence runs on the next runs over to the next line and then ends halfway through. What are you saving this? What are you trying to save yourself from? Over course of day, almost all people become sick with disease that causes excessive mucus production. All right, so we are getting more about the mystery. Another bullet point. PCs, medium save versus disease when drinking water or get sick. And I do like this. I like the idea that they're not telling you exactly what the save is, but they're saying it should be moderate difficulty, right? Medium. And I think I mentioned that in the other one. Why don't they do something like that? Instead of putting weird symbols or doing things, just say, or giving DCs, DC 18, I think maybe the other one had, and I wondered, well, depending on what game system you're running, is that hard? It's supposed to be medium, moderate. What is that supposed to be? It could mean different things, but if you just say moderate or medium, then if I'm playing 5th edition D&D, I can look in the player's handbook or wherever it is and see, okay, moderate is 15. If I'm playing 3.x, okay, here's where moderate is there. Or if I'm playing another system, I find that a lot better. And if I'm playing a maybe an OSR type game, I might just say, okay, medium would just be your regular save versus poison. I'm not going to give you a bonus, and I'm not going to penalize you, right? So I do dig that. Oh, Elfbait, I guess responding to Tunkatod's thing about the herb symbol, or build the world some by naming a specific herb, plant, or magical ingredient. Yeah, right. Going back to the sick goblins, maybe they're searching for something, right? We need Athelas. We need King's Foil. Give us your King's Foil, please. King's Foil. I could use some. I could use some King's Foil. Yeah. I think, it's interesting, and it's, look, this stuff's very easy to find from the outside. When you see somebody take the step and you go, boy, I wish you would have gone this one step further, or thought about it just a little bit more. It's always and totally easier to say that when you're coming from outside. I'm sure there's stuff that I look at and I come back and say, boy, why didn't I take that extra step or do something, right? So, I don't really fault them for not coming about it, but it's something that maybe, this is why it's good to have or you really need to have someone outside of your game take a look at it, because that's when an outside voice, mine, somebody else's, your friends, can come in and say, oh, this is something you're missing, or hey, why not do this instead? Because it just a little bit, right? That little herb. That could be, not only do you have this one-page dungeon, but now you've invented an herb that people can add to their games that can have a specific effect. All right, so we got the Township of Noose. The PCs will have a save versus disease if they drink into the water. I might make that broader, maybe every hour or once per day. Drinking the water seems kind of specific because you don't have to. And what are the, they're going to get to town and people are saying, oh, please drink the water, drink the water. I could very well see the PCs going, I don't need to drink the water. So assuming we want them to get sick or we want that to be a real threat of them getting sick, I might make it more general. If they're in town, the germs are flying. Maybe I just make them save once an hour or once per day or whatever. But I might do that. Nobody seems to really be bothered by the disease. Okay, I guess these are the folk that have the disease. In the evening, everyone heads for an abandoned mine/temple to get cured by priests. Okay, so is it an abandoned mine or is it a temple? See, I might, again, don't need to abbreviate this stuff. You have room on the page. You have room to say a temple converted from an abandoned mine. That is, boom. Don't tell me abandoned mine/temple. Like, is it an abandoned? It doesn't even. Is it an abandoned temple or mine? Is it an abandoned mine or a temple? Like, what does that mean? Slash make it seem like I'm supposed to choose one. If just be clear on what it is. If they have taken an abandoned mine and turned it into a temple, just tell me that. And here, to get cured by priests in this abandoned temple mine or mine temple is in quotes, so maybe they're not getting cured. We do have more here about this. Abandoned mine. Just put the D in there. This is where I get frustrated. Abandoned mine is shrine to nose-shaped god Umkus. Room 1. Priests. Okay, this is a really just thrown away sentence structure here. Priests hand out potions for free. They cure disease by baking mucus spring from people's noses and scoot up the great nose statue like slugs. Then, hold on a minute. All right, so we've got an abandoned mine that's become a shrine to a nose-shaped god, Umkus. I'm down with Umkus as a name. I enjoy saying Umkus. I'm going to continue saying Umkus every chance I get. All right, so there are priests in there. They're giving out potions that cure the disease by making mucus spring from people's noses and scoot up the great nose statue like slugs. All right, then retreat. Okay, so we've got this kind of it's a whole run-on sentence here. I think what they're saying is because it's hard to separate. Do they mean what the mucus from the people's noses is doing versus what the priests are doing? It's kind of confusing because I think they're saying the priests give the people potions that cause mucus to fly out of their noses, and the mucus runs up the nose. Then the priests, not the mucus, retreat further into the shrine and craft oozes from all the harvested mucus. And then those oozes are sold to interested parties. I'm kind of curious. I got to say, who are the interested parties? I mean, are these oozes, are they domesticated? Do they follow commands? What kind of intelligence do they have? Who is buying mucus oozes? And give me some ideas of what these oozes are. What's special about these particular oozes? I mean, it's made of mucus, so I don't consider that it'll be acidic or what are the special properties of mucus oozes? I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. I want to know. Now, nothing says it seems like the author did a lot of stuff to lower character count, but they never went back to check if each abbreviation actually saved them a line on the page. Yeah, that seems. I probably agree with you that at some point they went through and they thought, oh goodness, I've got to shave all this down. Yes, and then never went back and gave it another read. That particular whole sentence just needs a lot of help. And it's not even so much the character count. I could probably cut some words off of that whole thing and still make it clearer. Yeah. Right. And it's interesting. This is one of the, this is in the, what do they call it? The winner's circle so this was one of the better judged entries. And I'm not taking anything away from it. It's funny. There's definitely some cleverness there. But I think they had something where in one of their judgments or one of the areas supposed to judge it is on, hopefully on the content. And it's just, I would unfortunately have to ding this a few points because, at least to my mind, they didn't give it. This needed another editorial pass for readability that they didn't do. Characters, okay, this repeats every day. Characters will get sick again if they stay due to ill fish people polluting cities' water supplies. That minus dash. They need TPB removed. Okay, so what the heck they don't mention fish people at all. So that's just come out of nowhere. Characters will get sick again if they stay, but why would they stay? Stay where? Stay in, I guess we're in the town? But who cares if ill fish people are polluting the city's water supply? If they're staying, I don't understand. So the town keeps getting sick and going through the cycle. If they stay in a town, of course, it makes sense. If you stay in the town, you're probably going to get sick. I don't know what that has to do with ill fish people polluting city's water supplies. And then the dash, they need TP be removed. I'm guessing that's a typo. They need to be removed. Something else that just doesn't make sense. And why they just inserted this whole thing of fish people. Not that I'm not down with fish people, but I don't know where it comes from, and I don't know what it means. All right, so yeah, of course, if they stay, if they hang around here, they're keep getting sick. And then there's this other, which would be a good if it was for continuing adventures, right? What could you do with this in some kind of campaign setting? Is hey, fish people are, I don't even know why they call them fish people, but these priests or acolytes are going to cities and putting. Is it the ooze? Because the ooze doesn't say that it's that it carries this disease, but it might. But this might how they spread their religion. So that might do that. But all right, things that are not really explained. Just chalk that up. All right, so we have some treasures plus for sale. Treasure plus for sale. I don't know what the plus means. Is it not just some things that are for sale? Treasure plus for sale. 1 through 5 value in GP. What does that mean? 1 to 5 value in GP. Bottle of nose cleaning worth 50 gold pieces. Arrow of sneezing worth 50 gold pieces. Towel of curing worth 100 gold pieces. And the wand of coughing. I don't know what so it's a D10 roll. The first 1 through 5 says value in GP. Maybe we're supposed to reference this for the dungeon, even though in the layout it comes right after you're reading about the town, which made me think that maybe these are things you could buy in town. But I guess we're going to see maybe it has to do with stuff that's in the dungeon. I'm not understanding those first 5, but maybe it'll make sense when we get to the first entry. All right, so now we're in the dungeon, the Mines of Mukus. No doors, areas. All right, so there are no doors. Areas 1, 2, 3, and 4 contain torches to provide dim light conditions. I like that. Areas 7 and 8 are covered in glowing lichen, dim light. I also like that. So it's nice we get that. Again, Area 1 is not marked on the map. It's kind of obvious because it says in one other place that the nose-shaped god is 1, but it's not clear how you get from 1 to 2. If 1 is where the nose thing is, because I see 2, you could see where it connects. So you have the area where these mucuses are being pulled up into the nose, or is that mucus coming out of the nose? I don't know. I just don't see. Maybe someone, if you're in the chat, if you can point out to me where area 1 connects to area 2, is area 2 the main hall? No, I don't. All right, hold on a minute. So, all right, we gotta sort of figure this one out. All right, so let's read what they say. So, area 1, which I'm presuming is where the nose, the nose with the mucus either going up or down has nothing says area 1 is the exit. I don't think area 1 is the exit. Area 1 has the nose statue, and there's only one big nose statue. Elfbait also says, let's see, the mucus does seem to be going toward the nose, as all the raised parts are pointing to the nose. Yeah. Okay, so area 1 says entryway / nose statue. 1d4 cultists are here. Tiny creature can fit through the nostrils, end up in the center of area 4. Okay. So you're in entry 1. Nothing that says the giant nose is just art, not part of the map. I don't think it is. I think it is part of the map. There is a very visible one on the nose. There is. Do I need to zoom in there? Let's zoom in. How close can we go? Ooh, let's see. Is there a? If you see a one on that nose, am I looking at the wrong spot then? Where is area one? Or is this area one down here? No, that can't be right. Whoops. All right. I'm going to say the area that has this is area one. It, what happens is tiny creatures can fit through the nostrils, ending up in center of area 4. All right, so here's area 4. But if you're a tiny, then how are you? But how are you if you're not a tiny creature? Whoops, quit that. How do you get out of area 1 if you are not a tiny creature? Uh, I mean, there's got to be a way from the cultists. All right, is there a 1 by the 4 on the right? Oh, is that it? I thought that was like a question mark, but maybe that is area 1. That doesn't really make any sense. Maybe that is it. Oh, maybe that. Wait. Oh, okay. All right. So it's this nose. So that nose at the top is art. Okay. So whoever said the exit, that was correct. All right. My bad. They should have made the. Gosh, that's so unclear. Why is there a period here? And no, none of the other numbers have periods, but that one's got a period. As opposed to maybe putting a line underneath it to make it super clear it's a 1. I just read that as a question mark. All right. So there we go. All right. So here it is. Thanks. Maybe they could call this entrance and not exit and put the arrow going the other way. Needlessly confusing. All right. Or maybe I'm just confused. I am getting over a migraine, so that could just be me. All right, mystery solved. So there is an entrance tunnel next to the nose. So the little things go up in the nose, end up down here in area 4. Otherwise, you walk up to area 2. Okay. Now, bait. Hey, at least somebody else agrees with me. Thought it was a question mark. I keep jumping around. Stop jumping. All right. There we go. Yeah, that's weirdly confusing. And I don't know why they're calling it the exit. Just call it the entrance. Because that presumes that you're leaving that way when the reality is you're coming that way. Okay. That's whatever. I don't know if that's me or that's the design. Probably a bit of both. Okay, so the mucus goes up through there, ends up in area 2. Area 2 they're calling the main hall, and I don't know why. It does not look at all like a main hall. A couple of crates containing icky robes or one of the treasures. All right, so then I see when they say one of the treasures. I don't know why they say or. Why not just say 2 of the crates contain icky robes? Third crate holds one of the treasures. I'm not sure why we're saying or. Why are you making me choose? And for a map that's showing all this room detail, they don't actually put the crates in the room, which normally I don't care. But in area 3, they've got little drawings of a table and a bookshelf and bunk beds. So I don't know why in area 2 they decide to omit the crates. It's just a weird, I don't know, call it a stylistic inconsistency. 3, we have living quarters, 2d4 cultists sleeping or reading, one of which is a spellcaster. All right. And another thing, they don't have any squares. So no sizes are given for the rooms. So it's really hard to say. So I looked at area 2 and I said, that doesn't look like a great hall. I mean, one, it's round. I just think of a hall as being more oblong. And it is kind of oblong, but it's not. I think of a hall like a big, long, triangular, it can be curved, whatever, mostly a really big space. It's almost a circle. It's closing in on a square. So to me, it doesn't read as a hall. That might just be me. But the other thing is, it doesn't look particularly big. I don't think, wow, that's a hall. It just looks like a room. But then area 3, which is attached to it, is about the same size, more or less, though it's more of a rectangle than an oval. The drawings in this side show 4 beds, but then we're told there are up to 8 cultists. So they could be sleeping 2 in a bed, or that room is significantly bigger in reality than the drawing makes it seem like. Which I guess would be okay. Then I wonder, why put the stuff in there if I can't really count on it being literal? The advantage of putting all those little bits in there is if I'm looking at it, I can turn and read it, and I can say, okay, we've got a bookshelf that's across the door when you come in, and you turn, there's a table, and then you see, and then there's 2 bunk beds with 4 beds in it. But now I have to fit 2d4 cultists in there, and that's kind of tight for 2d4 cultists. Or it could just be, bigger. So I'm not sure why they just didn't make it bigger if it was meant to be bigger, or if just not have everything be literal if we mean it more to be non-literal spaces. The mediocre hall is not very catchy. Hey, Bob. Yes, that is true. That is true. These cultists are, they're trying to come up in the world. So yeah, the the slightly smallish hall that maybe is just a room doesn't really add up. Hey, Juan Cholo, this dungeon could be used for Gamma World. The PCs are being sent in to find tissue sample. Oh, ba-dum-bum. Wah, wah, wah. That's their great enemy, tissue. You have to put it's like if it's umkus, then the great enemy should be T apostrophe su. Tissue. Umkus versus tissue, the never-ending, the eternal battle. So from the main hall, we can go the other direction. We can go down some stairs. We end up by turns in the slime laboratories or laboratories. There are also 1d4 cultists here, one of which is a spellcaster. Is this a theme? One of which is a spellcaster. Trying to convert mucus into black pudding. Ah, okay, so now we know what they're actually doing. I'm not sure why that wasn't put in the other area. That it's good that they're trying to turn it into black pudding, because that helps. They succeed in 1d4 turns if uninterrupted. Oh, Bob Moss still piling on the vulnerability, the bless you spell. Yeah. Yep. I like that. Hey, it's a good reason to pull out all your deities, right? If you can say bless you by calling out a deity of law or good, whatever one you choose, then it hurts them dearly. Shrivels them up, dries them out. All right, so they're going to make black pudding. And I guess are we saying for each batch takes 1d4 turns? Because I imagine, or is this some grand experiment you just happen to be coming at the same time? I'm not sure. We've got next to the laboratory, we have the experimental pits. 2 people are trapped here by magical means. Can be used to replace dead heroes or as follows. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. If I don't know, it doesn't seem super deadly, but I guess depending on what level you are, maybe. In any case, if you've lost some heroes, they can retrieve some from. They can recoup their losses from one of these folk, and they can also be used as an ooze host. Weak humanoid, 1 in 8 chance per turn to vomit out small ochre jelly when freed. Ugh, clinically insane. Holes open when spellcasters are killed or through dispelling. Holes open when spellcasters are killed or through dispelling. Okay, so it's a little bit confusingly written. I'm guessing this means that we can maybe see the holes, but that there's some force field or something that's blocking you. You can't actually get down into them because of the magic. But if you kill the spellcasters, that will break the spell. Or if you cast a spell magic yourself, that will break the spell. Makes sense. Again, probably could be written a bit better. Maybe even put the name of the spell. Hey, the mini walls of force are being used. I don't know. All right, then we have a mine labyrinth. 1 gelatinous cube, moving always along the right wall. Can't use stairs. Covers the entire width of the corridor, but above there is a 3-foot gap and some beams. All right. So this is basically a puzzle with a gelatinous cube, and you have to figure out how to get over and around the gelatinous cube to proceed. I don't understand the purpose for it. it this is where I think so. A couple of things here, and I feel like I'm taking way too long on this on this particular. I can see already. I'm already half hour's been gone. I'm still on my first first dungeon map. One we've got black pudding that they're trying to create. Then they have this other experiment where they're trying to where they potentially making these hosts but those hosts are spewing on ochre jellies, not black pudding. Here we have a gelatinous cube. On the one hand, it's fun that we have these different ooze and puddings and things in here, but I would like give me some way they connect. Give me a little spiel somewhere. Hey, they're doing experiments, which it seems like they are, so that there's a variety of oozes and puddings and things that they're experimenting with. Great, that's fine. You could even put a little table there. Hey, they're trying to cast some kind of ritual on this mucus, and it can turn to one of the jellies, either a black pudding, a gelatinous cube, or ochre jelly, maybe something else. Right there, we get this thematic idea. Okay, so if we're going to say that they've created this mind labyrinth here, why? Give me some reason why it exists. Because here is just a puzzle to nowhere because there's no reason for the party other than just to come see the end of the thing. Why are they descending this far? What's the reason why their purpose are going? There's only one way in here. It doesn't lead to the exit. So why are they doing it? And why would the cultists have this? Because if something really important is at the end of this whole maze thing, why would they do that to themselves? Where's the shortcut for the cultists to get through? Or are we presuming that they're all like spider monkeys and they climb up and they're crawling along the beams? It just doesn't make sense. So give me something. Maybe they're trying to make the gelatinous cube more intelligent. So they're trying to see if it can navigate the maze. Maybe they're putting like a little prize at one end of the maze, maybe a tied up villager, and seeing if the gelatinous cube would make it through the maze in a certain amount of time to get the villager. Maybe they're trying to see what the gelatinous cube senses are, right? They've got little stairs there, so they've kind of trapped it in there somehow. Just give me some reason, because there it just seems like it's just kind of there. Okay, here's a little labyrinth. Here's a gelatinous cube in there. It's basically a puzzle. You can either kill the cube or you can try to maneuver your way around it via the beams or something else, but it doesn't just why is it there? Right? Give me some reason why. Next we have, if we get past the gelatinous cube in the mine labyrinth, there's a flooded mine shaft which was abandoned in a hurry. Contains gems and minerals worth 5d4 times 10 gold pieces, but they need to be mined with a pickaxe. So you can get that much value. Presumably it shows up in the, we would talk about the descriptions. You could see some kind of gems. It would have to be kind of raw, right? Raw gems. Easy intelligence plus tools check or parts collapse for 1d10 bludgeoning damage. All right, so if I'm reading that correctly, if you're going to hack away there, maybe when you are hacking away, you have to make an intelligence check. I'm not sure what the tools do, what tools you're using for it, because I could see it being wisdom or intelligence to look at and say, okay, if we're not disciplined in where we're trying to use our pickaxe, some of the roof's going to cave in on our head. I'm not sure what tools, I might know what tools we're talking about here. And if it's the pickaxe is the tool, I don't know how the pickaxe helps, but if the floor, if whatever, we get some part of the cave collapses, we get 1d10 bludgeoning damage. And here, finally, we're going to see some fish people. At the end of this, Colony Cave, 2d6 diseased fish people, one of which is a priest, worship Umkus, which manifests him. If they are defeated or the statue in the room center is knocked over, infections stop and oozes Umkus die. Priest may summon, difficult spell casting check, Avatar of Umkus, hovering nose-shaped black pudding, but attacks are ranged, shooting from the nostrils. Okay, that's creepy and gross. So I think this really just needs, I mean, I like it. It's humorous. It's interesting. Parts of it I don't understand. They could do a better job, I think, or obviously we can ourselves make it more thematic, tie stuff like the maze a little bit better to the rest of what's going on there. It just seems like a puzzle to keep you from getting there. This is where it could really use something like, give me something that's in that last area. Give me a reason for the party other than just, I don't know, curiosity, or hey, here's where the dungeon goes. For them to have to venture all the way down. Because at some point they could just go, either we want to help this town with the sickness or we don't. And if they decide at some point, okay, this is interesting, but I'm bored, we got to go somewhere else, let's go. There's nothing really compelling them to go down. So give me a reason to go down. Put somebody got kidnapped and they're taken down there. Give me the hints of the fish people in the town. Maybe some of the fish people, kind of like in a Cthulhu kind of sense, are starting to work themselves away from the townspeople. Maybe they become more fish people like, and that there's some real reason to keep going, because there's not a good. Somebody just said it. I think Nothing was about to say it. Nothing said there's not a great hook for any of this. Sick villagers, priests seem to be curing them every night. Why did the PCs start to oppose the priest? Right. It's a weird thing. It's one of those weird things. Do you want to investigate? Yeah, but there isn't a great reason as to as to proceed. Hey, Terrence says, why a booger dungeon? What did I come in on? It's a good question. Why a booger dungeon? Why not? Hey, Don. Nice to see you in the chat. Yeah, I don't know. I like it from it certainly is a new kind of thing. It certainly is different, but nose goblins could be nose goblins. Why not? It could use some extra polish. There's definitely some editorial fixes I think that could help, and it definitely needs a little bit of a better, or it could use a better hook. Right? Why are PCs? Why are we going down into the depths of this thing? There's not really any compelling reason to. It could have used someone runs out, help. My granddaddy's been taken and he's been taken down, or they're using, because this is great because they could use townspeople in the maze. There are all kinds of ways they could be taking townspeople and doing stuff with them. But as it stands, it's kind of a weird. I mean, the weirdness is kind of what makes it kind of fun and cool. But it could use that. It could use that thing. Yeah. Elfbase says nobody seems bothered by the disease. Yeah, because it's where you think the hook would come in, is townspeople going, "Oh my gosh, help us, we're sick," and all these priests are doing, and somehow we're compelled to go to these priests every night. Elfbase also says if the priests were causing a plague so they could harvest the mucus for their slimes, it would make a lot of sense as a hook. I mean, that's what they're doing. But there's kind of like there's two areas. There's the fish people who are down in the basement, and then there's the priests. They don't connect them up too much. And then the other thing is, if the townspeople are okay with it, there's a good chance this could just get like, okay, well, there's a weird thing here, but I don't want to deal with it, so let's go. And there are, nothing says, and there are captured people in the cave. Why not use that? Yeah, where are the people who are disturbed that their aunts, uncles, cousins, might be there? Elfbait also chiming in. A strange hook too would be that the priests are not asking for anything in return for the healing. There's a lot of strange things going on, but the fact that the people in the town seem to be okay with it, it does kind of take away what could be some of the terror if they can't seem to leave and they're getting sick, and then the priests are in this cycle. I mean, that's kind of scary as all get out, and we could wonder all those things. But look, granted, we're in the limitations of a one-page dungeon, right? So you got to do a lot with a little, but it seems to be that this could have used just another couple of passes and maybe could add some more stuff. Let's move on to the next one. So at least we can get 2 done today. All right. That looks like that's in Greek. Am I reading that? I don't speak Greek, but it says, or maybe it's called Vera Parvasi's Flying Tower, or I don't know. That's what I'm going to call it. Text and line art by @cardboard nomad. I'm guessing that's our Twitter handle. And color by @Milalanthi. Oh, Soylent Slime is people. Nice, Elfbait. Terrence says, if I knew lung butter-based conspiracies were on the table, I would have skipped lunch. But I'm bum. All right. So I don't know what the Greek stuff at the top is. I don't see a translation for it, but the first paragraph says, Vera Parvasi's Flying Tower is a legend around this part of the world. Generations of its denizens tell stories about the building in the shape of an hourglass, which roams between the clouds, and of the enigmatic witch that observes all from above. This time, though, something seems different. The witch's tower has frozen in midair for 3 whole days, and the rock beneath it has begun to crumble. The locals are worried that the tower has started to fall apart and that the consequences could be devastating. Reminds me a bit of what's that? There's one of the was it Castle in the Sky? Is that the Studio Ghibli film? Or is that that's tower or that whole town city that's floating above the land? So I like this. Kind of a cool. I like the concept. There was a typo. Tavor. I think that's an extra V was in there. Tower. All right. And this is a magical tower for 4 characters, levels 3 to 5. Hey, I like that. Give me the character levels. That's nice. Oh, Laputa, Castle in the Sky. There you go. Both Elfbait and Wanchola were both hitting that one. Yep. Just gives me that vibe a little bit. Here's what's up. The tower is held aloft by the arcane hourglass in its core. The spell has been disrupted by the lifeless body of the witch, which has fallen in the sands on the 4th floor. As a result, time inside the tower has become unpredictable. Every 15 minutes, there's a 30% possibility, on a D100, of a 5-minute rewind. This only affects defeated creatures as well as positions of characters inside the tower. Any further disruptions will only expedite the tower's collapse, and heroes will have 3d6 minutes to react before it hits the ground. However, the destruction is reversible if all obstructions to the sand's flow are removed. All right, so we got 2 interesting things here. So we have, in essence, we've got a bit of a ticking clock. The temporal effect, it's going to be interesting. I'm curious if they'll give any advice on how to manage that. 5 minutes, if you fought stuff, right, means that basically your whole fight will be rewound if it hits any, and more or less on if you fought something, then it hits and you get the 5-minute rewind, then that's all gone. Don says they like timer-based encounters. I like timers a lot. This stuff with the rewinding is just going to be interesting because it's going to be quite a bit for you to manage, but we'll see. And then I guess you've got that from the witch, but then if there's any other disruptions, and presumably we'll see those disruptions or we'll read about them, then you've only got a handful of minutes before this thing just comes apart. The first area is outside the tower, which is good because we don't know how to get in the tower yet. The hovering island is only accessible through either flight or magical means since it's situated about 200 feet off the ground. The tower itself is made of brick and wood, with only the middle part made of thick glass, across which one might spot a deep crack. The only entrance to the tower is the rounded triangle-shaped door in front. An observant eye will spot one pulse every 15 minutes in the large gem hovering inside the glass section. All right, but that presumes we can get up to the tower. Interesting. This is something I'll just say probably could have used a quest giver. Maybe there's the witch's sister, hasn't heard from the other witch, and she'll get the party up there because 4 characters at level 3, I don't know how they're all flying up there, right? Getting up there becomes a potentially insurmountable problem depending on what game you're playing. It's great. It's 200 feet off the ground. Hey, it's flying. All right. How do I get there? No idea. Hey, Don. Hey, thanks for the love, and have the rest of your afternoon. And yeah, this will be on YouTube afterwards, so you can come back and check it out at your leisure. Glad you joined for the time that you did. So that might be an issue, but we'll put that aside for right now. But this could have been something where they could have said, "Hey, this guy will get you up there. He's got a portal. He's got a fly spell. He's got some way of bouncing you guys up there and maybe back. Maybe he gives you some kind of wristband, and on a timer you'll get down again. I don't know. It could have been a little bit of a clever way to help parties get up there, because I'm not sure at level 3 if you have 4 characters. Maybe one of them, I don't know what level you get flight. It might probably depend on what system you're playing, but probably don't have group flight. So as a GM, you'll have to. It would have been nice if they had figured that in. If you're a GM, you're running, you're just going to have to figure out how they all get up there. Let's see. So we have the exterior of the hourglass shown on one side of the page. On the other side of the page, we've got the interior, but the interior, I don't see room numbers. And it's kind of cool because it shows it like must have like a little gravity exchanger because they're both kind of right side up. So one end, the end that's on top looks like everything's upside down, but everything's bolted to the ceiling. But obviously, it must have some kind of gravity thing so that it stays on the side it's supposed to stay on, and the gem is hovering in the middle. I I'm guessing that we're supposed to come in at the area that's on the bottom. Does that sound right? Looks right. Anyway, that would be the foyer, 35 feet across, inside to the right and left of the door. And the door is not actually shown on the map. Okay. There are two pedestals. On one sits the jade statue of a tiger. Okay, so it is this bottom area here. And I guess that door is this little protrusion that's in the picture. I think my my and on the video my picture is blocking it. But suffice to say there is kind of a door there. Okay, in the middle of the room, a heap of fine golden dust paradoxically flows upwards to the crystal in the heart of the tower. Something has walked through the dust heap, leaving glittering feline shaped footprints that lead to the stairs. Across the room, a recently lit fireplace, an armchair, and an expensive carpet adorned with arcane symbols. Uh, okay, it's just, I guess they're missing the verb there, but I guess there is, or there are, those things. And I think a cross only has one C in it. The trained might be able to decipher the message, which results in the statement, "Time is of the essence." Where's the arcane? I guess that's the arcane symbols in the carpet. It's a little bit unclear. All right. Then, how do we get to? There's looks like there's some stairs. So we take the stairs up. We get to the bedroom, which is 50 feet across, with a 15-foot hole in the middle. The first floor is essentially a round balcony looking down upon the foyer. The pillar of golden dust rises through the space. From the walls and ceiling hang carnivorous plants. Ooh, like that. These are confined to their flower pots, but attack anyone within reach who is not holding the witch's staff, which it looks like it's way up top. Okay. The footprints stop abruptly next to the filled bathtub in the nightstand. There's a book titled Spells for Lonely Wizards and Witches, with a bookmark in the chapter Turning Household Items into Animal Companions. The page notes the resulting creature might be in need of careful training in its first days of sentient existence. So far, it's very cute. The plants are kind of fun. There are a couple of typos and some things there that could probably be cleaned up, but I like it. I'm curious what's in the tub. Oh, or maybe it is the tub. Did the cat become the tub? Doesn't seem to say, but it's suggesting that the footprints suggest that it is the tub. Okay, now we have area 4, which is the middle. And again, none of these areas are the numbers don't show up in the pictorial representation, and I don't know why. Just put the numbers there so that we can easily see it without having to take the guesswork. I mean, it's not a ton of guesswork. It's kind of, oh, that's the gem, or oh, the heart, the gem. Okay, but still, put the numbers. You're numbering it in the, if you're numbering in the description, use the numbers. So the heart, the crystal, which is the center, with the crystal hovering in the tower's core, is a shard from the essence of Asgaroth, a deity of creation. The witch has used this to fuel her magics and travel through space-time undisturbed with her home. Part of the spell holds the upper half of the tower in reverse gravity. To pass from one half of the tower to the other, one must take a leap towards the crystal and avoid it as they go through the tight space around it, 10-foot diameter. As they fall upwards, coming in contact with the object will result in rapid gain or loss of 1d10 years of life for the creature. Okay, so you have to jump through. Juan Cholo says, I'm getting a Studio Ghibli vibe, or the module could be given one. Yes, right. The Laputa, Spirited Away, for sure. It definitely has that kind of playful, interesting, right? I thought immediately of the Castle in the Sky. Yeah. and I dig that a lot. I'm assuming it's was purposeful, and I like that. Now this thing with the gem, why I'm not sure why you would build your house like this. Why would you build your house that every time you want to go from one side to the other, you have to make this, I don't know, like doom, this chance to age rapidly? Yeah, wouldn't you just give yourself an easier way through, or maybe the witch had a little teleport or something? I don't know. It just seems like, why would you build yourself? Because this is not to stop somebody from getting through. This is your abode. It's in the middle of your house. You're dealing with this thing on a day-to-day basis. Why would you do that? It seems like a little bit like, oh, we got to have, there's nothing, okay, the decliniver's plants are somewhat dangerous, but not super much because it's easy to avoid. And I kind of felt like, oh, we got to put some kind of trap. We got to put a trap to a trap. But I would, if you're going to put a trap, I much should have been those jade statues linked by the door. Something conceivably where the witch would want to put in to avoid people coming into the house. Not something like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. I'm in the library, but I got to go pee, or I'm ready to go to bed. Let me jump through this little thing of death, or not death, and see how many years I'm going to get if I touch the gem in the middle. Just kind of a weird choice. But if we happen to jump through there, and maybe we get hit with the gem and we gain or lose 1d10 years of life, we get to the library. This room mirrors the second floor. Its walls are covered with bookcases containing tomes of magic, as well as tomes about caring for houseplants, travel guides, and novels from all over space and time. Some yet to be written. Bum, ba, bum. So get that betting guide and go back to the future, or go back to the past and bet on all your favorite sports teams. Bob Monsels is probably another power of her staff. Maybe. We're going to see that. We're going to see in a minute. And then here we will find Witch Parvasi's staff close to the ledge. Next to it, a living jade tigress. Oh, that is the tiger. Okay, so the cat is that. It's not the bathtub. She is distressed and lightly wounded from the fall. One can either fight her or calm her down, in which case she returns to her inanimate form. So that was the other jade statue. Okay. So the mystery of the jade statue did not become a bathtub. Juan Cholo says, it's Resident Evil house design. You can't get from here to there without a life-threatening puzzle. Yeah. Which, right. Yeah. Exactly. All right. So they don't say what the staff can be, but yeah, I might have that with the staff. Maybe with the staff, you don't. The staff would be nice for them to give some powers of the staff. Also, to say a little bit about those tomes, because a party is going to get in here, 4 characters, 3 to 5, land this thing and then just, or put it, drop the anchor, have it hover, and just, what are you going to do? All kinds of magic tomes. I'd be afraid of what kind of stuff might just come out of unnumbered magic tomes in a library. I might like to have some reason why either they can't get those out, or what they have in it, because that sounds like it could be a lot of stuff. Or maybe it's just not spells. It's tomes about magic, but not stuff that's easily. Or at that point, though, give it gold piece or silver piece values, right? Give it some kind of treasure values if the party decides to just, totally grab all this stuff and sell it. Okay, what else have we got here? So that's that. And then finally, the top or bottom floor, depending on how you're looking at it, the laboratory. The last level of the tower is where the witch used to experiment with her magics. Her body is found lying face down in the heap of sand, wearing her bathrobes. If moved from the sand, the hourglass will resume its normal function, and the crystal time-altering pulses will cease. The room is cluttered with spell components and equipment, as well as a few valuable artifacts. On the walls, among other notes, one may find directions as to the operation of the tower. By saying the command words written on the foyer carpet while pointing the staff at the crystal, one gains control of the hovering island. If the body or other obstructions remain at this point, the collapse will continue, and within 1 to 4 days, the tower will completely obliterate whatever lies below. All right, so you're also giving them a really powerful vehicle if they get a hold of it. So if this is so I'll say this on the cool side. If you're in one of these campaigns, and I know there are tons of them out there because I see people talking about them all the time, and you're about, hey, I'm running airships, or I want to give my party an airship. This is really a cool non-airship, but kind of flying device. And you get a neat little puzzly little thing to figure out. I think they don't really say much, but I'd like to see more. As a GM, you would have to build in more traces, right? So you have the sand is kind of moving up and below there, but obviously because the witch is obstructing that pile down there, it's not moving according to how it should. I want to see that, right? Give me in the descriptions how the sand's trying to come up. Maybe your body's kind of bulging up from the sand, or sand's not hitting, or some hint. It just seems to be just kind of laying there, and you kind of got to know to move it out of the way. But give me some traces of that. I mean, if this is level 3 characters, this is a really powerful piece of kit. A powerful piece of kit, not including the fact that there are a few valuable artifacts, whatever those are supposed to be. Tonka Todd says, cool concept, but it seems the adventure design could have been fleshed out better. Yeah, I mean, it is great, right? As a dungeon, there's not a whole lot to it. I like the fact that it's not combat focused. I appreciate that. If it's not going to be combat focused and there's such a powerful thing in play, then maybe the puzzle should be a bit more to figure out. The whole thing with time, there's no explanation of how they want you to run the time. I mean, I know they say, oh, you move 5 minutes backwards, then that happens, but it only affects defeated creatures as well as positions of characters inside the tower. Now, the one thing that could be, which could be really annoying, if you jump through, hit the crystal, got 10 years taken away, then it reverses, you end up on the back side, that back where you came from, then you jump through again, then you take another, you could, and maybe that's kind of part of the hidden lethality, is some of these things that are taking years off of you could easily end up with some bad luck. Or if I'm that guy, my character jumps through, they get tagged, lost 10 years, and I'm not an elf or something where it doesn't matter. That's the other thing. If you're an elf or a dwarf, it probably doesn't matter at all. If you're a human, it could be a big deal. So it's a little bit unfair. Unfair. Maybe I even put something like, hey, you lose some constitution, something else as you're rapidly aging relative to whatever aging is for you, and you can get it back somehow. Something like that. But then, yeah, some characters not going to be affected at all. If I'm an elf, I'll just jump through there until I make it. Who cares if I lose 30 years? It's no big deal at all if I'm playing your stereotypical elf. And even a dwarf has a fairly long lifespan. Those 30 years probably in the grand scheme of things in an adventure don't mean anything. But if I was 30 years old as a human on this thing and I jump through and a couple of things I mess up and I lose 30 years, now I'm 60, that's a much, bigger deal. Potentially. And the puzzle part is very simple. It's really, jump through and then recognize that, hey, why don't we move the witch off the sand? Which I can see some parties doing just by accident. Let's move the witch off the sand so we can examine the sand or something, and then they'll fix it. So I might want to figure out some way to use the puzzle. And with this crystal, you think whatever puzzle should affect the crystal. That could have been worked out a little bit more. Nothing says you should have to use the time reversal to solve a puzzle somehow, like let you backtrack to the location you couldn't otherwise. Yeah, there are some interesting things. Again, it's a one-page dungeon, right? So I know we're limited by space and the abilities. But yeah, maybe I would work the crystal into it. It'd be interesting to see. You have these different things that they've called out. You've got the staff. You've got the jade cats. You've got the bathtub. You've got the carnivorous plants. So it'd be interesting to think about how we could take all those elements and figure out some kind of puzzly thing to do. Like the witch has been dead for some time. Okay, in this case, it seems like she just collapsed dead. Maybe she hit the crystal one too many times and trying to jump through herself. So she just aged herself to death and then fell down. Maybe the place grew wild in some way where you could have some fun with kind of these different levels. What else was the witch doing, right? So in this case, I really like the concept, got the great theme. I actually appreciate that it's not something where it's hack and slash, just kill, but the puzzle element I would like to be a little bit stronger and use some of these elements you've brought up. You've kind of highlighted these different things, use them. But I get that there's got limited time or limited space, but and then to the extent that you can flesh some things out, like the her staff. What exactly does it do? Obviously, they've given it a use, right? It does use it to pilot the thing. Maybe there's something else it could do. The jade animals are cute. There could be other stuff that came alive. Maybe a lot of the things are actually alive because she's been experimenting with that. That could be something. I don't know the purpose. Why would she keep carnivorous plants? Do we know why she would do that? Might be interesting to know why. What other purpose they might serve? Maybe there's something there. But yeah, good stuff. I definitely like the creativity and the theme is great. And if you are in a campaign that you want to give your characters an airship, this is a lot more interesting airship than just let's make another Zeppelin. Let's see, there's a footnote here. This dungeon was designed to be as system agnostic as possible. It is assumed that the storyteller, capital S, will add and adjust skill rolls, enemies, and any other aspect of the dungeon to better fit the story and system being used. All right, so there you go. All right. Well, I was hoping to get through a bunch more, but I only got through 2. Let me know in the comments or wherever if you think I should keep going to get through all these winners' circles. I will be taking a break from this tomorrow. If all goes well, I'll be back on OSR Roundup, the OSR Reddit Roundup. But let me know. Appreciate any thumbs up you want to give on your way out of the chat. If you have any last comments about the flying tower, let me know what you think. I'm not going to show the next one. I'll so we can go into that one spoiler free if I do end up doing more of these. I'm not sure how many left I have. Probably have at least 10 or 12, which seems to take me forever since I'm going a half hour per dungeon, more or less. Tunkatad says, I am thinking of stealing this idea, but have the characters transported to the site and have it in a pocket dimension. Yeah, I think there's a lot of cool things you could do. I definitely think that if you're going to have characters of this kind of level, someone could correct me if I'm wrong. I know it's very campaign and system dependent, but to me, I don't see a 4-character party levels 3 to 5 having access to everyone being able to fly. Maybe one magic user's got it. If you have, depending on your party, maybe more than one, but it just seems to me that's a hard ask out of the box saying, okay, 4 characters of that level can have group flight. That one's tough. So I would probably put some kind of quest giver, the witch's sister, somebody else. If certainly if you wanted to, there's some really interesting things you could do with it on a campaign sense. If somebody wants the tower for themselves, hire you to go get it, thinking you're going to bring it back to them. And then you decide as a party that now that you're up there, you're not going to bring it back, right? Then you could get one of those situations like Todd's Law where you create your own big bad evil guy by not fulfilling the job because you think the prize is too cool. There's certainly things like that could happen. Maybe it could be on the ground somewhere, and then you get on it and it lifts off. There's a lot of stuff. Forget flying, have a grapple, will climb. Yeah, I mean it's 200 feet up, but I suppose that you're on a mountain or something. You could, or a tall hill, and it's coming through a valley. You could presumably get grapple hooks into it. No, nothing says they say 3rd level, but there's nothing in the write-up that has any bearing on level. This could be for 1 to 20. Absolutely, yeah, could be for sure. It's just interesting that they suggest that. Right. If I'm going to me, I'm looking at, I would run it for what you suggested for. Sure. I can go in and I can do anything I want with it, but I'm going to look at what's suggested first. And for that suggested level, to me, I would just put that hook / quest giver in there that will get them up to the spot. If you're at 8th level or I don't know, whatever, then I'm going to assume you probably have the means to get up there. You've got flying carpets or you've got fly spells or whatever. You got enough scrolls of flying to create an air force. I just look at, if you're going to say it's suggested for X level, then that's how I'm going to perceive it. If they'd said this was meant for characters of level 20, then I wouldn't be worrying about how they get up there. I would probably be worrying more about, wow, this is really dead easy for a group that's level 20, right? And what's the draw for them? Because at that point, a flying tower, they've probably upgraded 3 flying towers already. They've already got a fleet of flying cars. What do they need, this for? So, but yeah, for sure. And this one, because it's all about the flavor and the theme, it would be very easy to upgrade it or downgrade it. It would just be, I guess it would be easier if that main puzzle was a little bit more fleshed out. But yeah, totally. All right, folks, I'm going to head out. I got things to do, people to see. Well, not really, but I do have things to do. Have a great rest of your day, night, weekend. Hey, if you give a thumbs up on your way out, if you're not subscribed to the channel and you find yourself in here and you like this, and hey, subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I will talk to folks whenever. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, whenever you're watching or listening to this. Game on, everybody. Talk to you later. Ciao.